Harry and Meghan are moving back to the UK. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be relocating from California with their 2 children.
Meghan and Harry are moving back to Britain this autumn, and a lot of people are convinced it is the beginning of the end for the royal family. It is not hard to see why they think that. Over 6 years, this couple sat down with Oprah Winfrey in front of 49 million people, made a 6-part Netflix series about the institution, and published a memoir that sold faster than almost any non-fiction book in British history. So the question is fair. Are Meghan and Harry actually going to destroy the royal family? To answer that properly, you need to know exactly what was said, what was proven, what was contradicted, and what the British public actually thinks right now. Because on that last point, the numbers are not what anybody expects. The first crack appeared on the 20th of October 2019 on ITV. In a documentary filmed during the couple's tour of Southern Africa, journalist Tom Bradby asked Meghan how she was coping. Her answer was that not many people had asked if she was okay, and that it was a very real thing going on behind the scenes. When Bradby pushed and asked if it would be fair to say it had really been a struggle, she simply said yes. She also said she had tried to adopt the British stiff upper lip, but that what it does internally is probably really damaging. There was no factual allegation in any of that, no accusation. Buckingham Palace issued no response at all, but it was the first public signal that something was badly wrong. The interview that changed everything aired on CBS on the 7th of March 2021. In the United States alone, it drew 17.1 million viewers on the night, rising to 21.3 million with delayed viewing, and CBS put the worldwide figure at more than 49.1 million across television and streaming. Meghan said that while she was pregnant, there had been concerns and conversations about how dark her son's skin might be when he was born. She never named who said it. Harry later clarified the comment had been relayed to him, and that neither the Queen nor Prince Philip said it. To this day, nobody has been identified, and the claim has never been independently corroborated. It remains one person's account against an institution that has never given its version.
And I just didn't want to be alive anymore. And that was a very clear and real and frightening, constant thought.
The most serious thing Meghan said in that interview was about her own mental well-being. She described being in an extremely dark place while pregnant, and said that when she went to the institution asking for help, she was told she could not receive it because she was not a paid employee. That is an account of her own experience, and nobody can fact-check how another person felt. What has been disputed is the second half. Reporting at the time noted that the Queen had assigned a senior aide, Samantha Cohen, to mentor her, and palace side accounts pushed back on the idea that no support existed at all. So the emotional truth of it stands unchallenged. The claim that help was refused does not. Not everything from that interview held up. Meghan suggested her son had been denied the title of prince and linked it to race. But under letters patent issued by King George V in 1917, great-grandchildren of the monarch in that line simply do not automatically become princes. Archie was too far from the throne at birth, and he became entitled to the title the moment Charles acceded in 2022. Meghan also said they had secretly married 3 days before the wedding. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, told an Italian newspaper the legal wedding was on the Saturday, and that signing a false certificate would have been a serious criminal offense. The couple's own spokesperson later conceded they had exchanged personal vows, not married. The passport claim was disputed too. Buckingham Palace waited roughly 48 hours and then said almost nothing. The statement issued on behalf of Queen Elizabeth II on the 9th of March 2021 was 61 words long. It said the whole family was saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years had been, that the issues raised, particularly that of race, were concerning, and then delivered the line that became famous. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. It ended by saying Harry, Meghan, and Archie would always be much-loved family members. According to Valentine Lowe's book, Courtiers, the recollections may vary phrase came from William's private secretary, and Catherine insisted it stay in. 4 days before Oprah aired, The Times reported something that has never been settled. A 2018 complaint from the couple's then communications secretary, Jason Nauf, alleged that Meghan had bullied staff and driven two personal assistants out. Buckingham Palace said it was clearly very concerned and launched an investigation. Meghan's spokesperson called the claims a calculated smear campaign and the latest attack on her character. And then, on the 30th of June 2022, the palace announced the review was complete and that its findings would not be published to protect the confidentiality of those who took part. HR policies were changed. No details were released. So the allegation sits there permanently unresolved, and both sides can read whatever they want into that.
Sussex has apologised for misleading the High Court, saying she never intended to do so. Briefed the authors of an unofficial biography.
There is one moment where a claim was formally taken back, and it happened in a courtroom. During the Court of Appeal stage of Meghan's privacy case against Associated Newspapers, a case she went on to win, she apologized to the court for misleading it. She had previously denied cooperating with the authors of the book, Finding Freedom. Jason Nauf then produced emails and texts showing she had authorized him to brief them. Meghan accepted that Nauf had provided information with her knowledge and apologized for not remembering the exchanges, saying she had absolutely no wish or intention to mislead. One of her own texts read that everything she had drafted was written with the understanding it could be leaked. The Netflix series landed in December 2022 and went further than the interview did. Harry said there was a hierarchy in the family, that there was leaking but also planting of stories, and called it a dirty game. He also said that in this family, sometimes you are part of the problem rather than the solution, and that there is a huge level of unconscious bias. The palace never formally rebutted either claim. Meghan reenacted her first curtsy to the Queen and compared it to a medieval-themed dinner show, which the British press absolutely tore into. And in an interview with The Cut that August, she said she could say anything, that she had a lot to say until she does not, and that the silent part is still part of the song. Here is the answer. Since October 2022, when Meghan praised the late Queen in Variety as the most shining example of female leadership, there have been no significant new attacks. Her Netflix cooking show and her podcast are about food and business. The move back to Britain this autumn is confirmed by the Associated Press, NBC, the BBC, and CNN, but every single one of them says the same thing. They are returning as private individuals, not working royals. There is no half-in, half-out arrangement because the Queen ruled that out in January 2020. And when YouGov asked 5,971 Britons on the 21st of August how much they cared about the move, 60% said they did not care at all. That is not the sound of an institution being destroyed.